Good morning, brothers and sisters. Welcome to New Jersey Family Church's Cheon Prayer Vigil. And today is the 8th day of the 8-day cycle, and it's Anshil. And so I'd like to start by reading some of Father's words on the explanation of Anshil. Anshil. Today, I would like to share with you the meaning of a new ceremony that all blessed family conduct every 8th day, called the Anshil. It began on May 5th, 2004, at Yosu in Korea. That was the day when Father proclaimed the era or the day after the coming of heaven, which is Anshil. What is Anshil? It has to do with every 8th day. We declare a true Sabbath for God. And our family does our vows before heaven, and we also offer the family pledge, in which we as owners of Cheon pledge to fulfill all the responsibilities as blessed central families. Father and mother on that day could live in the realm or the era before the coming of heaven and enter into the realm of heaven as a true family. Because of that, true parents actually enter the direct dominion and direct realm of God's true love. Actually, if we had really fulfilled all that was possible in developing true love in ourselves, we also should be able to enter the realm of heaven with true parents in our hearts at that time. However, as you know, we are still working on perfecting our love through our true family providence. Therefore, we cannot enter literally with true parents. So how do we enter the realm of heaven? So there's no gap or separation. The condition that allows us to enter the realm of heaven is Anshil. It's conditional. It means it's a spiritual condition that allows us to claim the next 8 days. When we pledge before God that we will fulfill Anshil, we pledge through the family pledge to fulfill our responsibilities as blessed central families. Through that special prayer service with our blessed family, we set a condition in which God can protect us for the next 8 days, and we claim that next 8 days. All right, thank you so much, True Father. Claiming these 8 days, very intentional and trying to keep it centered on God and our families. So now I'd like all of us to greet our Heavenly Parent and true parents. So you can do a seated or standing vow. 천징 참부님께 경배. 바로. And we'd like to start off with singing a holy song. And so I'd like to have the tech be able to share the holy song. And please feel free to join and sing along.
We're leaving all our heavy burdens here.
All right, thank you everyone for uplifting the spirit with song. And now we like to recite the family pledge, verse number 8, first in Korean, then in English. 가전맹세 8. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 천일국 시대를 맞이하여 절대 신안, 절대 사랑, 절대 복청로 신인의 일체 이상을 이루어 시산천국과 천산천국의 해방권과 석방권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 8. Our family, the owner of Cheon, pledges having entered the era of Cheon to achieve the ideal of God and human united in love through absolute faith, absolute love, and absolute obedience, and to perfect the realm of liberation and complete freedom in the kingdom of God on earth and in heaven by centering on true love. And to open us up in prayer, I'd like to invite up Mrs. Akemi Hirose. Akemi-san, if you can please unmute and offer the opening prayer.
Let's pray. Most loved Heavenly Parent and true parents, thank you for the day, for the Anshil. We can pray together and we can start new 8-day cycle. And this is the what Heavenly Parents gave to us. We are so grateful to be here, brothers and sisters. We can start new week and a new start with a grateful heart. I pray in my name, Ken Hirose, with Center Family. Adieu.
Adieu. Thank you, Akemi-san, for opening us up with that wonderful prayer. And brothers and sisters, we'd like to take a moment now to do some light stretches and feel good, awake, and appreciating our bodies. So let's start as usual, just up in the sky or to the ceiling, stretch upwards, and really try to reach for Heavenly Parents' love. 3, 2, and 1. And then now we can shift over to our right and feel that stretch in our left side, and you would really feel it if you can keep your arm extended out. 3, 2, and 1. All right, and then let's slowly shift over to the left so that we can feel that stretch on our right side of our torso. All right, 3, 2, and 1. And then let's bring our arms down in front of us. We can interlock our fingers and feel a little tension by pulling on them. And curl our back a little so that we feel a nice stretch on our upper back. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then we can reverse or inverse our hands so that we feel that stretch in our forearms. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I guess we'll go back to what I started with 8 days ago, to our heads. So yeah, just really appreciating our brains and this really heavy part of our body. So you can either massage it however way you want it, or you can lightly use your fingertips to tap on it and really get the blood circulating through your head. And just a fun fact, Fred was telling me you should massage your head every day for at least 20 minutes because it improves the blood circulation. And when it improves the blood circulation, then you don't have to worry about going bald and losing hair. So he was recommending that to me because I guess I have my hairline is thinning out. So yeah, whether you massage it or tapping it, let's do this for another 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then just kind of, yeah, just appreciating our face as well. So just like kind of gliding over your eyes or going in circles to really appreciate our eyeballs for really helping us see. And then you can also stretch out your nose, not like this way, but just just I guess, yeah, gliding over your nose as well and appreciating our nose. And of course, and also you can massage your ears, or pull on it and feel a nice stretch. And yes, I guess that is all when it comes to instructed light stretches. Now I'd like to give yourselves 10 seconds so you can stretch whichever part of your body that is asking to be taken care of. So let us go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for really taking care of our bodies, this body that was given to us by our heavenly parent and also our physical parents. And so now we like to go into our breakouts to be able to share any gratitude or appreciation points that we have. And so if you're prompted to join a breakout, please click join. And if you're unable to at this time, please take this time to reflect on our gratitude points. So let us go into our breakouts. All right, welcome back, brothers and sisters. Hope you had a wonderful time sharing your gratitude and appreciation with one another. This morning, I was privileged to be in the breakout room with Pastor Naokimi and Mrs. Misael Bien, and there's a lot of emotions of nervousness, excitement, and incredible hope for the ACLC event that's coming up this morning. So good luck to ACLC, and yeah, we hope to hear amazing reports later. So yeah, we like to jump straight into True Mother's words now, and to be able to read Mother's words and share their reflection, I'd like to invite up Mr. Stephen Boyd.
Thank you, Yasu. Thank you so much, and thank you, Pastor Naokimi, Pastor Takino, for the opportunity these past 8 days to share with everyone. Try to do my best, and I hope that whatever I have been able to share has had some meaning for everyone's lives. So it's not easy to do this, and I really thank you for the opportunity, at least to try. Okay, so let's begin our reading. Victory through perseverance. Wow. Oh no, I've lost another pair of shoes. Even before the member would finish his sentence, those around him would know what had happened. Poverty sometimes makes people do bad things. At the end of Sunday services, we often would find that a pair or two of shoes were missing from the shoe rack. So whenever I had a little extra money, I would buy new shoes for members who had lost them. I also prayed that the person who had taken the shoes would set his or her life straight. Between 200 and 300 people would attend our services and other events, and there was never enough rice to serve them all. So we made porridge by boiling barley in a large iron pot. As the event progressed inside the church, outside, we would make a wood fire and cook the barley porridge. Members would sit down in little clusters and share bowls of the porridge, and they were more grateful for this than anything else. All this is a gift from God, they would say. When I was pregnant, I craved tangerines, but we could not afford them. They were so expensive. One member learned about this, however, and bought some tangerines for me. I ate 6 or 7 of them on the spot. I was so grateful, I cried. Wow. Giving some insight into Mother's situation. So a lot to say in this short passage. So as Mother says, poverty does things to people. I remember when I was a missionary in Uruguay, I was riding in a taxi, and on the street in the neighborhood we were driving through, there was a crate of apples that was sitting at the base of a tree on the sidewalk. And the taxi driver said, "Oh, who did that? That's just creating an opportunity, a temptation to steal." And I thought, oh, why would you steal? It's not a good thing to steal. Why would you ever do that? But actually, in certain situations of difficulty, you really discover it's different when you're in dire need. Post-war Korea was really poor. And so people would take shoes from the shoe rack. So what was Mother's response? Mother was to save her money and go out and buy shoes for those who now had no shoes. And then she would pray for the person, whoever it was that had taken them, hoping that they would set their life straight. So, I mean, if we tried to put ourselves, if you know the Chungpadong Church, if that's the church they're talking about, which I believe is what it's referring to in the passage, there's just a little teeny tiny, like Mother calls it a courtyard. It's like a little patio. And they built a wood fire. So I don't remember seeing any like stove or anything. It may have been a fire in the open, and they've got a pot over that, and they're boiling in this big pot porridge for everybody, trying to figure out how to feed the 200 and 300 people that came. And so, wow, and they had no money, but they made barley porridge. Have you ever had barley porridge? For us, I'm thinking to the Westerners, uh, I don't know. I never found it so tasty, but uh, in the meeting at the courtyard, people were so grateful just to have that, but probably because they had no food in their homes. So true mother is figuring out a way as mother to cook for the members. So this made me think then. The last part of the passage is mother talking about being pregnant and craving tangerines. So again, I'm just a brother, I don't know about these things, but I would imagine that the craving was like severe, Sometimes you get a hankering for some sweet or something that you like, but I'm just guessing that it's maybe something like that. Tangerines were very expensive. I remember a father talking about the cost of bananas in post-war Korea. They're very expensive, and there were no bananas grown. Now they begin to grow them on Jeju-do Island, but in early days there was no bananas. I guess likewise for tangerines. My dad said for Christmas during the Depression, he would get an orange. He was so happy to have an orange. So somebody figured out that mother wanted tangerines and figured out a way to get the money together to go buy them and give them to her. And she was so wanting them so bad she ate 6 or 7 all at once. That's not common, I think, for mother. And then she cried. So why did she cry? I don't think she cried because she liked the taste of tangerines alone. I think more than that, mother is a mother who's been giving and giving and giving and giving and giving. And then suddenly someone understood her desire and found a way to satisfy it. And her heart was moved. Don't you think? Mothers, don't you think? So really, mother's heart is moved when we touch the secret place of her need and brings tears to her eyes. As children, we often look to our parents for sustenance and support, and we kind of think that honestly, all of us at some point kind of take our parents for granted. We don't remember the suffering. We don't even know the suffering that's going on behind the scenes. And so really, as children, to move our parents and to show respect and love and devotion to our parents, we need to pray and figure out what they are going through and their needs. So part of this exercise for me in reading Mother's memoir is just that. For me to understand what Mother is telling us about herself, what she needs, for me to figure out how I can satisfy that need and bring joy to her. When we were missionaries in Uruguay, we had my wife had a little sweater business, handmade sweaters, knitted sweaters, children's sweaters. And they were kind of unique. And we used the money to help support the church. And when True Parents came, one day my wife bought a whole bunch of sweaters to Mother and to Wanju and said, I'd like to give some of these sweaters to Mother for the True Children. And so Mother heard about it and invited my wife into the bedroom, and she laid out all of these sweaters on the bed. And Mother picked, which one, so she picked. So Mother was quite moved. But what did Mother do? On a future visit, Mother came back and invited my wife back into the bedroom again. And she laid out, so the story is that my wife tells it is that he said, Mother, these are pure 100% wool, very proudly. And so, okay. So then Mother invited my wife back into the bedroom on a later visit, and she had laid out a beautiful dress, one of Mother's dresses on the bed. This is for you. And Mother said, pure silk. I want to give it, something wonderful in the same spirit to my wife. So this is Mother's heart. when mother would come, I was often responsible for driving them or receiving them at the airport, handling their passports and getting them through immigration and customs. And the first time father came, he was actually sick. He had a cough, and we never see father sick. And father was coughing in front of the members, and I looked at mother, and her face was like, like, can you do something? Because she's in the front of the room and she's not going to get up and do something. So I turned to Wanju. I said, look, what do I do? And she said, well, maybe make a cup of tea with some honey. So we did and brought it to father. Mother was so moved right in the middle of that situation. One time we were fishing, or true parents were fishing, and there was a bunch of brothers and sisters, elder Korean leaders and others. And father was already at the water, standing there waiting. And then mother came down and she was walking, and she had to walk over, not like a wall, but like a rock rise. And so I noticed that that's going to be a little slippery. So I watched and nobody was helping. So then I went over and I gave mother my hand and I helped her step over that. And she walked down. She just was so pleased about that. We would prepare true parents' room as the best we could. And then we would learn later that true parents were pleased. One time I got the opportunity to sing to True Mother. So I sang for her, "You Light Up My Life." And the words are, "You light up my life." And mother knew that I was singing it to her. And she was just beaming, so pleased, in a shy way. Another time I sang for true parents the Battle Hymn of the Republic. I had to go to the library and get the lyrics. I didn't know all the verses, and I sang it. And mother was so inspired. I learned later she'd sang that on her plane as she was going on her tour. So these kinds of things, So I'm running over time here. I know President Al-Kim is going to chastise me again, so I'm just going to finish up real quick. Mother would do tours in those days, and once she asked me to make a recording of her speech in English. So I worked on that laborious. We had no equipment, so I had to kind of stop it and go back, I gave her the tape, and she would practice it every day like that. And I learned that she liked it. So the last speech on that trip was in Washington, D.C. And fortunately, I was invited to go. And I felt very close to mother because having invested that way and knowing that I was contributing in a certain way. So after the event was over, I kind of went up to the hotel suite where two parents were. One of the brothers from East Garden was there outside the door. And I was just kind of standing out the door. I stood there for a while. And then mother had been on a tour a long time and had not seen her family for a long, her children and grandchildren. So I was waiting. And at one point, somebody opened the door to go in. And I could see through the door. And in the door, inside, was mother sitting on a very nice chair. And the children were coming and bowing to her and embracing her. Mother's face was so happy. So her children loving her is what truly brings our mother the greatest happiness. So the last thing I will say is that what mother looks for is our support, understanding her secret heart, and doing these things not centered upon us, but out of a desire to bring love to her, and bearing up nobly ourselves under difficult circumstances, and delivering, if you want to say it that way, under their circumstances in that way with dignity. I am so thankful. I feel we are so lucky here in America that we have Reverend Dunkley. Reverend Dunkley, in some way, has been able to touch our true mother's heart. And I'm so grateful that we have him as our leader. I'm so grateful that he is conveying the heart of our true mother in an intimate way that we would otherwise never know. And without knowing that heart, there's no way for us to be able to satisfy mother's desire. So I don't know about you, but I've had dreams with Reverend Dunkley, all night. Whoa, what am I doing, And what I don't know Reverend Dunkley. I'm just getting to know him. But it doesn't matter. God is working, and God is trying to save our country and the world through the United States and its position as elder son nation. So we can't be in close proximity to Mother right now. It's just a different era, but we can still bring her joy in our daily life. Mother will feel our devotion, and she will be drawn in her prayer to us. So anyway, thank you so much for the opportunity to share these 8 days, and I hope this has been meaningful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Boyd, for really finding out Mother's heart or pearls and gems that Mother wanted to share through the memoir. And also especially today for you to be able to share the special moments with that you and your wife had with True Mother and True Father, just like that member had with the tangerines. So yeah, we really loved listening to your reflection, your sincere reflection that you had to come up and think about, even though some days were challenging, talking about childbirth. But yeah, we really appreciate just the heart that you had and that you showed up with every single day. Thank you for sharing. And today, for our testimony, we like to receive from Mrs. Marie Ong. And yeah, Mrs. Ong, we love to hear from you now. So if you can please unmute.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Yeah, I've been asked to share how I joined the church, the movement, and why I'm still here. So I'll do my best. I'll try to keep it short, but it's not easy. But I was really moved yesterday by our sister Yoko's very moving testimony. And I realized that she joined the church about the same year that I was witness to. And that's the story I want to tell you about joining. I didn't come easily, let's put it that way. But I grew up in Michigan in a Christian family. I attended Manchester College and trained to be a teacher. So in the mid-1960s, I was living in Fairfax County, Virginia, and teaching in Vienna, Virginia, 4th grade. And I was sharing an apartment with Lena Rapkins, or she was Lena Miller at that time. She's my first cousin. And she had done volunteer service in Europe for 2 years. And through our church that we both belong to. And so in the fall of 1965, she and some other friends that had done this service work were having a little reunion retreat at the Dunbarton Oaks Methodist Church in Georgetown in Washington, D.C. And I went with Lena to help cook. And on Sunday afternoon, while we were getting ready to leave, this young man walked in. And he walked over to Lena and he tried to talk to Lena, but she was busy. So he came over to me. I was loading up the car and he introduced himself as Gordon Ross. And he said that there was this group in Washington, D.C. that was working to restore the new Garden of Eden, and which would bring unity of all religions. And then in my mind, I heard him say, or he was saying something about communication with the mind. And I listened to him, and then he gave me his card. It said Movement of the New Ideal and had a phone number on it. And so I took the card. This was a time in the 60s when there was a lot of New Age movements. And actually at that time, Lena and I had attended church regularly, but we were looking for something new and something different as well, something more meaningful to us than what we were experiencing. So anyway, I shared what I heard from him with Lena on the way home, and put the card in my wallet, and that was that. So fast forward to summer of 1966. Lena and I went to Japan on a youth hostel tour for 1 month. Then we had some time free to do other things. And she was visiting a friend that was doing service work there. And I had made plans to go to Korea for 3 days. So, and no one went to Korea back in 1966. But I was sponsoring a Korean orphan and I wanted to visit her. So so I went there, and it was a whole experience in itself. I could spend an hour telling you about that, but Korea at that time, no large buildings in Seoul, no tall buildings. And no one had cars. There were Jeeps. People would have bicycles. The streets were dusty. And anyway, it was post-war for sure. Anyway, I had a very wonderful experience there, and my heart wanted to stay in Korea. I loved it. But anyway, we came back. Lynn and I were both teaching then, and that fall, we were, looking for things to do in the city. And I noticed in the Washington Post, there was an ad for this Korean group called the Little Angels of Korea would be performing at Constitution Hall. So I talked Lynn into going with me, and we really enjoyed the program. It was something all new and different for us, but and it was beautiful. So we all know that. Then over Christmas vacation that year, we both went to our respective homes, she in Virginia and I in Michigan. We took books with us to read, I guess, while we went. And the book that I took was a book by Ruth Montgomery on about the psychic, very popular in the 1960s in Washington, D.C., named Jean Dixon. And I found interesting that she said that she predicted that there would be a world leader come, or actually was already born in the East in 1962. And this was something I thought, this would be wonderful if we had someone who could come and unify religions. Anyway, and at the same time, Lynna had been reading a book on extrasensory perception, ESP. And she even tried it out on me a few times when she came back from Christmas vacation. As we were talking about what we had been reading, we remembered this guy in Georgetown, and some of the things that he had said. And so Lynna said, "Do you still have that card?" And I looked in my wallet, and it was, amazingly enough, it was still there. So I called, this is on a Sunday afternoon, I called the center, and a lady answered the phone with a slight accent. Later I found out it was Miss Young-Eun Kim, Dr. Young-Eun Kim. And she said, we said, "Do you have some sort of meeting we could come to?" And she said, "Well, yes, we're having a meeting tonight. You can come tonight." So we went in, and I'll just read to you what I wrote here. It says, January 1967, we made our way into Northwest Washington, D.C. It was dusk as we neared our destination, 1907 S Street. We were a little disappointed. It looked dark and a little spooky to us. There was no sign, and there were no bright lights. So I looked at Lynna and I said, "Should we stay?" And she said, "Well, if there's a parking space in front of the house, then that means we're supposed to go in." So there was a parking space, and excuse me, we were greeted at the door, and then as soon we met Becky, Rebecca Salonen, who happens to be actually my husband's spiritual daughter. She appeared and ushered us into a small room. She was very friendly, very nice, and she gave us the introduction to their beliefs that night. It was late afternoon, she said something about spirit world, and I thought I really liked what she was talking about. So anyway, then we were invited to stay for the evening Sunday service, and it was in another small room, a little larger, but it would hold about 15 or 20 people on chairs. And so we went in and sat down, and I noticed there were three Koreans in the front row, and that got me very excited because I loved Korea. But actually, the first song that they sang was Bringing in the Sheaves. And I thought, if this is a new age group, then they're singing Bringing in the Sheaves. It didn't seem to quite fit. But anyway, after the service, I went up and introduced myself to the three Koreans, and they were kind to me, but just smiled and whatever. And later on, I found out it was Dr. Bo-hee Pak and Colonel Han and Miss Kim. And I thought, oh my goodness, I was quite bold to do that. So anyway, we were invited to go back every Tuesday night. We would go back to hear a lecture, hear the divine principle. At the end of that time, we heard the conclusion, which was a big thing. They kept talking about the conclusion. And what it was just studying, hearing the lecture. Becky taught us up through history to today, and I was fascinated by the history since the time of Jesus and how God was working. And I knew she was going to say something about a world leader. And so that didn't surprise me at all. And I knew that he was from Korea, because she has sort of had us guess these things. But then when I found out how old he was, because Lena said, well, he got married, because she understood more than I did through the lectures, got married in 1960. And I thought that doesn't quite fit, because he was only born in 1962, supposedly, according to Jean Dixon. Anyway, we were really moved when we heard the conclusion, and we were really drawn to the people in the center. I mean, especially Becky was a very good teacher, and anyway, then. But we didn't, they invited us to stay for dinner that night, but we had other plans. So a few weeks went by, and so Becky called us and invited us to come back and study more. Lena continued to study. I was distracted. I had planned a trip to Europe that summer, and so I went to Europe, and I came back. When I came back, I found out Lena had joined the movement. And we kept our apartment, but she would go in and spend a lot of time there. And I'd find myself going in with her because I enjoyed the people. And they were so active. We all had jobs, but in the evenings and weekends, we were all witnessing and studying and so on. And they were friendly. And I would even go to DuPont Circle and sing with them when they were witnessing. But then something would happen, and I would distance myself. And so finally, in January of 1967, I was really struggling, and all kinds of things were going on in my mind, and distractions and whatever. And I was drawn to the group, but I was resisting it for many reasons. And so Philip Burley was the director of the center. He was actually a HSA president at that time. And he told me, he said, Marie, you've got to stop this. 1 foot one place and 1 foot the other. He said, you have to make up your mind. So he said, you come in and live in the center for 2 weeks. And at the end of that 2 weeks, you have to make a decision. And it's either in or out. He really put it to me. So I got my sleeping bag and I went in and stayed with the center in Washington, D.C. for 2 weeks, which seemed ridiculous. I had this nice apartment near my school, and yet I was going into this Washington, D.C. Crowded. I was in a room with Nora Martin Spurgeon, later Spurgeon, and she was very, very helpful to me at that time. We come from similar religious backgrounds. And I was really moved, by what she was. And then people were joining, like Neil Salonen had joined during this time, and Farley Jones, and really good people were joining. And I thought, and so I was kind of attracted. And so at the end of this 2 weeks was True Parents' birthday. And at that time, we called them master or leader and mother. And that Saturday evening, Miss Kim, we called her Miss Kim then, later she became Dr. Kim. Miss Kim gave her moving testimony of how she joined the church and her experiences with True Father. And so moving. I was really touched. And then she prayed at the end, and beautiful prayer. And then we had unison prayer. And I just felt God's spirit moving within the group. And I started crying. And I just felt, okay, I'm hooked. This is it. So I didn't tell anyone. They probably knew something was going on. But the next day, on True Parents' birthday, after the celebrations, Miss Kim took most of the members to look at a house they were planning to buy, or in the process, on Upshur Street. And while they were gone, there were 2 or 3 of us back in the center. And I had told one sister that I really wanted to join, but I was still struggling a little bit to really sign my name to the membership card form. And anyway, I said, okay, I'm going to sign. And so they quickly gave me a form. I signed it, and I felt like I was giving my life away to God. Really, I just felt this was right. And I just was so happy. All my struggles seemed to melt away. And so that's my story of how I joined. Why I'm still here, I can't forget these experiences, how God worked in many ways to bring me to this movement. And I saw a group of people who were not just going to church on Sunday or whatever, but they were acting, they were really living what they were trying to live, what they were teaching. And that was, to me, was very special. And then through the years, I've seen the international flavor of our movement, which is so precious. And I have to say, most of all, my husband was like a rock for me when there were times of struggle, when we had difficulties. He was always very stable. I was kind of up and down and all over the place sometimes, but he was very stable, like a rock. And I'm so grateful that I'm still here. I'd like to show just 4 or 5 pictures if I could. Yasu. This first one is of Lina and myself in our apartment. She was an artist as well, so she did the mosaic in the back. We were planning lessons here, I believe. And the next one. This is me planning a test, probably. I have a little parakeet sitting on my typewriter while I'm working. And next. This is 1907 S Street. This was probably at a holiday when we had the few members from New York and Philadelphia come. The Fernslers from New York, Philadelphia, and you can see Dr. Pak in that picture. I mean, he's in there. You probably can't see him, and then Miss Young Eun Kim is in the front row. Next. This was taken at Holy Ground near the Capitol building. I don't think that tree is still there, but these were some sisters. We had gone there to pray at the Holy Ground. I'm the tall one in the back, and Lynn is to the right there. And you'll see some others, Betsy Jones, Becky Solona, Diane Fernsler, Sandra Lowen, and others, and Gladys Samuel. Next. And this was taken a year later when we were celebrating Miss Kim's 10th anniversary in this country. And I think I've taken too long. So the last picture is me and my husband on our 50th wedding anniversary. Next. And that's it. Thank you very much for listening. Sorry I was so long.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Ang, for your heartfelt and beautiful testimony. And wow, yeah. In the times of growth, yeah, it can be challenging to be able to receive God's calling and God's love. But, you signed that membership form, and what really came back was so much grace and love from Heavenly Parent, and you felt free. And you felt so excited and happy to be able to join. And And also thank you for sharing the reasons why you continue to stay. Of course, your late husband, has been a rock for you in your entire life, and I'm sure he has been for so many people, really investing so much love and care to many of his spiritual children. So we love him, we love you, we love both of you, the Ong family, and thank you so much, Mrs. Ong, for sharing. And brothers and sisters, as today is Anshil, we do have someone preparing their musical offering. And so I'd like to invite up Mrs. Hiroko Hiroi, our wonderful sister with a beautiful voice, to share her song. So Hiroko-san, if you can please share.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. Good morning, brothers and sisters. So I would like to offer a Korean song, my most favorite Korean Christian song. So, wait. I need some procedure. Okay, on. So first of all, the song name is Samyeon, Mission, God's Calling. And so first of all, I translated Korean into English, and I can explain. The path that Jesus walked through, shedding water and blood, I will follow that path too. I will give everything to save people from the steep mountains and valleys to the ends of the sea. God, please use me. I will obey without sparing my life. I will continue to love people, even if they hate me. I follow the cross of salvation. Oh God, you loved me so much that you would lay down your life for me. Please accept this small myself. 주님이 걸어가신 그 길 나도 다가 모든 물과 피를 그 길은 나도 가오 험한 산도 나는 괜찮소 바다 그지라도 나는 괜찮소 주목할 저들을 위해 나를 버리길 바라오 아버지 나를 보내주오 나는 달려가겠어 목숨도 아끼지 않겠어 나를 보내주오 십자가를 메고도 감사하게 해주시고 누구보다 주를 전하겠다는 마음 아버님께 감사할 수 있는 마음과 같게 허락하여 주시옵소서 우리 아버님 험한 산도 나는 괜찮소 바다 그지라도 나는 괜찮소 주목할 저들을 위해 나를 버리기를 바라오 아버지 나를 보내주오 나는 달려가겠어 목숨도 아끼지 주어 세상이 나를 미워해도 나는 사랑하겠어 세상을 그어 나를 십자가 나도 하나요 생명을 버리면서 가지 나를 사랑한 당신 이 작은 나를 받아주어 나도 사랑하오 감사합니다.
Thank you so much, Hiroko-san, for really sharing your beautiful voice and preparing with such deep heart the meaning of the song, and it's really beautiful. But also, we really appreciate that you're preparing this both in Korean and in English, two languages that's not your native tongue, but because you wanted to share this song and the message the song brings to all of us, you prepared for it. So thank you so much. And now, brothers and sisters, I'd like to invite up the assistant pastor, Tushi Takino, to lead us in prayer from the New Jersey Family Church's Cheon.
Thank you, God. Wonderful Anshil. I have now. Thank you. Thank you, Steve, Mr. Steve Boy, Mr. Sang, and Hiroko-san. Wonderful today, Anshil, for me. And yeah, I have a couple of them. Mrs. Sang and Dr. Ang, that they are one of the respected elders, they also said, Akino-san, I really need your help to become the chombo. That so really, that they're sincerely, how we can fulfill the true parents' desire. That attitude is really inspire me and I really respect them. Thank you. Our brothers and sisters, wonderful. Every day I'm so appreciate, when I was a young, 2 years, 2 months boy. I like that. Anyway, today I have a huge announcement. We need one player. We need several players. So, but one of the father, the Greg Davis. His name is Greg Davis. He's in the rehab center in Long Island. That's actually the weeks ago. I'm sorry I couldn't share with you, but please continue to pray his family and Mr. Greg Davis. And also, this is a wonderful news. Do you know her? She's Sophia May Connelly. The Connelly couple, Catalina, husband name, Catalina's new baby, the girl. She was born October 31st, 2023. Congratulations, our new third generation. So we really appreciate Catalina. They would like to give some special gift to Catalina's family. Thank you. So today, I like to invite our Cheonilguk's wonderful sister, Moe.
Good morning, everyone. Please let me pray. 사랑하는 하늘 부모님, 전진전 부모님, 사랑합니다. 감사합니다. 오늘도 당신과 함께 그리고 당신께서 사랑하시는 이 뉴저지 식구님들과 함께 흔덕계로 아침을 출발할 수 있음에 진심으로 감사드리옵나이다. 장모모님께서는 오늘 어떤 하루를 출발하시고 보통 하루를 지내고 계십니까? 저희들은 참 어머님께서 오늘도 하늘 부모님의 꿈을 이루시기 위해서 그리고 참 아버님과의 약속을 이루시려고 누구보다 앞장서고 이 길을 걸어가고 계신다는 것을 알고 있습니다. 저희들은 그럼 참 부모님의 심정을 생각하면서 그런 부모님의 효의 마음을 닮아가기 위해서 나아갈 수 있는 저희가 되려고 합니다. 하늘 부모님, 참 부모님, 아직도 저희들은 너무나도 부족하지만 그래도 저희들을 언제나 사랑해주시고 믿어주시고 인도해주시는 하늘 부모님, 참 부모님이 계신다는 것을 잊지 말고 오늘도 어제보다 오늘 성장한 모습을 보여드릴 수 있도록 그리고 저희들을 통해서 당신께서 사랑하는 사람들을 사랑하기 위해서 노력해 나가는 전성을 드릴 수 있는 저희가 되려고 합니다. 하늘 부모님, 참 부모님 정말 사랑하고 감사드리옵나이다. 다시 한번 이 아침을 당신과 함께 출발할 수 있음에 진심으로 감사드리면서 이 모든 말씀 짚어주신 가정의 세아비로 모의 이름으로 보고드리며 감사합니다. 아주.
Thank you, Moe, for your prayer. And brothers and sisters, now I invite you to please unmute and let us join in unison prayer. 경외하신 하나님 부모님, 신비하신 전지인 전부님, 진심으로 감사합니다.
사랑하시는 하늘의 부모님,
Heavenly Parent, true Prince of Peace, precious Spirit,
말이
우리
그렇게 하는
as we greet you,
그렇게 하는
reminder that just as love
그렇게 하는
surrounded
What kind of children?
Servicio de esta mañana. Dones de mis hermanos y hermanas.
We have a weapon.
La lectura de nuestra madre. Reflexión de compartir experiencias personales.
Reality of still mistreating each other, taking advantage of one another, and especially hurting the hearts of one another. They're insecure because they're selfish because they haven't known any better. So they're still unaware and ignorant of the fact of you are as the heavenly parent of all each and every one of us human beings, and that you want us to live in
And the children of Korea. We can just see
establecido
reach out to the places.
For those who are suffering and for those young people who are
reach out to the places. And we can still preach the word.
20 años
To be able to and doing
buscando a Dios, buscando la verdad.
to bring so much what you are creating others
Es tiempo
so many things about to many
Every day,
hasta que finalmente ella pudo ella a la decisión
Friends,
those gathered here in
people,
lost friends.
pura,
All the
preciosa,
because they believe
friends.
what is working.
tanta persona así que se han unido a nuestro movimiento.
Centering on you, God. We pray we
Estamos
want to
tan
move this your will
preparados.
That
to be able
such
to
a
release
wonderful
the
people.
baptism
I came to
of the
America.
Lord,
Sí,
so that we can be
America,
connected to you much
damos
more deeper
la
in ways
oportunidad y
that
el privilegio
God.
ser
we Christ also
I
want
only think about,
he is praying
I don't
to
know
the United States and to the
how much.
Jew. Thank you so much, brothers and sisters, for your sincere prayers and offering it all to our Heavenly Parent. And yes, as we conclude our prayer vigil today, let's give huge thanks and applause to Mr. Stephen Boyd for really being able to share Mother's heart and his reflection for these past 8 days. Thank you so much. You really brought up so much inspiration and insight to each and every one of us. And also thank you, Mrs. Ong, for sharing your testimony today and really sharing your heart and how we were able to see God was working through your life. And also thank you, Hiroko-san, for your beautiful musical offering. And with that, brothers and sisters, thank you all for joining. And also, I want to just appreciate Jan Babkin, one of our UPA in training, a young missionary who has come to be able to run tech. And so making sure everything is smooth externally. And as today's Anshil, I just want to show you my little offering table or offering fruit. And it just so happens I have a tangerine with me. So I would like to eat this today in the spirit of thinking about your mother and enjoying it with her as she is craving tangerines. So with that, brothers and sisters, wish you a happy, healthy, beautiful day today. Love you all. God bless. And we'll see each other tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Happy
Happy
Anshil.
Saturday.
Thank you,
Happy
Marie.
Anshil.
That was so beautiful.
Thank you.
And we know you love your parents.
Thank you.
Bye.
Testimony, Mrs.
Hey, there
Ang.
you go.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.